Hey everyone, hopefully we're live to my channel. I didn't check the stream key, so if I go to the wrong channel, my apologies. I did set it up as an event, but I think going through StreamYards, it probably set up as a different event, so you might have to migrate over. Let me check this real quick, because I don't know where this is going. I hope this isn't going to my Facebook, because I didn't want it to go to my Facebook.
YouTube just gave me the notification you're live, Steve. So
okay, so it is going somewhere. I'm not quite sure where it's going. Oh, here it is. Okay, I did find it. Okay, good. Because I want to make sure that I can interact with you while I'm doing this. So, pause that. So I got Bullinator here. He's the producer of the Non Sequitur Show. Nick Studer might be joining us. Sweet Heathen might be joining us. But okay, so this is going to my YouTube channel, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, I want to ask you guys questions because I'm a little bit livid, to be honest with you. I have not done much with Katie during Paulson as far as talking about legal stuff, although I have mentioned before that I was thinking about suing her for defamation per se a while back. And I had a friend of mine named Dead Kennedy in Space contact her and tell her either issue an apology or I will consider pursuing legal action for some of the things that she has said. He did get a hold of her. He did tell her. She did issue a non-apology of sorts. I have all the screenshots for that. I have all the tweets. And then she made a video on her channel about a somewhat vague apology. I mean, she didn't get to it was a 33-minute video that we went over the other day on Caffeine Corner on this channel if you want to check it out. And she didn't get to an apology to about 30 minutes in. And even then it was just half-assed. But it was enough for me to say, okay, well, I'll take you off the radar because my goal was actually to win back the Non Sequitur Show and to hold Kyle accountable for what he did by taking all the money from the show. And so I was telling people that I had bigger fish to fry and I just couldn't waste my resources going after Katie. Well, now that the lawsuit basically has won for all practical purposes. I mean, I've won the lawsuit against Kyle. He cannot vacate that. That's a done deal. Right now, all we're waiting for is him to respond as to why I should not get the channel back and why he hasn't opened the books. That's the only thing the judge has asked. I gave an affidavit. The judge has said, okay, he accepts the affidavit. He'll file it as an order or motion if he doesn't hear from Kyle by the 9th, December 9th. And so far, that looks like it probably won't happen. And I doubt it will because I don't know what Kyle would say. But if he did, that's great because, again, Kyle has to explain to the judge why he has not shown the financial records to his business partner. I don't think that's going to happen. But long story short, Katie, again, has changed her story. She went from not just accusing me of tax fraud and medical fraud, which, again, she had rescinded after seeing the evidence, and then all of a sudden rescinded the apology. But she accused me of sexual harassment. Now, there's a lot of inconsistencies and problems in her story. But today, a new turn of events seemed to have come up, and I'm like, really? So this is why I brought Bullinator because he's the producer of the show, and I'm not going to get into too much stuff because if I take her to court, I want her to obviously bring evidence, and I want to have it, done legally. So I'm going to be kind of parsing what I say very carefully for legal reasons, but she has accused me of sexually harassing her, talking about my penis and talking about her breast size, which, by the way, I have done with women that are friends of mine. I have a small group of friends that they all know who they are, that I'm comfortable with, that I will joke around with them like that. They all know who they are, and I've all asked permission as well to be that kind of level of friendship with them. They have given it. I'm not an idiot. I would have never, ever, ever done anything like to Katie. And Katie has absolutely no evidence that I've ever done anything to her like that. And she never mentioned any of this before. Matter of fact, her story has changed so many times. The last thing that she was talking about was Mercedes Carrera when we had her on as a guest. She was a pretty well-known porn star. I said that she was brilliant. She was entertaining. She was hot as fuck, was my words. And her response was, yeah, and she's got some boobs. Them boobs or something, right? That was her words. I didn't say anything about that. And so somehow that got transposed into me sexually harassing her about her boobs. And I don't know where the penis comes in at all, because she would sit there in the hangouts with Kyle and GE and talk about GE's massive penis size and Kyle having anal sex with her and things like that. I never participated in any of that. I never was on a friendship level with Katie. I was never comfortable enough to ever say anything like that to her. And so it's kind of just a little disconcerting when somebody like Katie, who I've never gone along with, would accuse me of sexual harassment. Because people that know me know that I have to be very comfortable with somebody, and I have a very, very select group of friends that I'm that comfortable with, and they all know each other. And so for her to throw this charge out is just bizarre. It is in my opinion, defamatory. It's defamation per se, because she has no evidence ever happened, because it didn't happen. And for her to make these accusations to try to harm me because whatever reasons she has, that I think should be taken up very seriously. And I'm considering legal action. I have contacted my attorney. The thing is, I don't know if I could use my attorney for this or I have to contact one from Minnesota. But I've asked him these questions. I'll send him all the pertinent information, and I will pay for it either out of myself or start a legal fund for it. The thing is that I will be moving probably in the next year. I have a very close group of friends, as I told you, and we're thinking about getting a place together somewhere. And I'm going to be saving up for that. Actually, I'm going to be investing with somebody, hopefully in the next year or so. And so I have a lot of things that are in the future. And so I don't want to, like, everything that I've saved up for the last 6 months, thanks to the people coming from the non sequitur show to my channel, I was able to save up enough to move if I have to. Because before, I mean, I had a couple $100 in the bank account. It would have been screwed because Kyle never paid me anything. So I'm not in any financial hurting position for myself. I think my Patreons, they have been amazing through all this. But if I do something legal, I'm wondering if that's something I should start a legal fund for. And especially for the people that have had similar issues with Katie. And maybe if they even want to join in some kind of class action, I don't know. But I think that this woman needs to be held accountable for what she says. I think this woman has been defaming people. I think that she has lied about Amber Portwood from Teen Mom and accused her of being abusive, bullying, and somehow breaking her probation, and by calling her PO and the district attorney to try to get her on a probation violation that never happened. I think that she needs to be stopped. And when it comes to her affecting people's lives, and my reputation is my life. I have worked very hard for my reputation. I have a damn good one. Contrary to the trolls out there that have always tried to throw things my way, they've always got beat back down like whack-a-mole. Why? Because they never bring any evidence, and they're just running spin. People know this now. I've said this for years. Reds has said it for years. Bullinator has said it. Now Nick Suter has said it in a video that if you haven't watched it, it's for a very select group of people, but it's very, very poignant, very, very raw. But he lays out exactly what I've said about certain people. And so I am tired of just yelling at the top of my lungs about certain people. And I think certain actions need to be done. So I am really serious about taking Katie Joy Paulson to court for defamation. Like I said, I have already initiated legal things with my lawyer on this. I don't bluff. People know that by now. I never have bluffed. If I say I'm going to do something, and I'm going to do it. So this is not a bluff to Katie at all. I'm dead ass serious. But I did get, I'll get the chat here in a second. I did get Bull in here, and I don't like putting Bull in the spot, but I wanted to make sure that you recognize the fact that Bull has in every pre-show we ever did on the Non Sequitur show, and he's in every hangout that I had with Katie ever on the Non Sequitur show. And I've asked him, did he ever at any time hear any of these things come out of my mouth towards Katie ever? So
absolutely not. I know you're asking me for the record here too. No, that has not happened. That is not even close to what happened in any of those hangouts. In fact, those hangouts are so few that for me to not recall correctly would be impossible.
Yeah, it wasn't very many. Okay, we the super chat real quick. I am Moon for $20. Thank you, Moon, for your legal fund, coffee, rum, and split with Bull. Love you all, and I will do that. By the way, anybody who says split, they get it. They get it the very same day. Cheshire as well. If somebody says, give something to Cheshire's dog, she gets that the very same day. I don't wait like Kyle did or wait for it to come in the next month. So I appreciate that very much. I'll figure that out for Bull. I don't want to miss too much of the chat, but Bull, I mean, Katie and Kyle were pretty chummy, were they not?
Oh yeah. They actually started another show on the Non Sequitur Show channel called The Smoking Nun together, which was, for all intents and purposes, a gossip show.
Yeah, I watched some of them. I didn't watch all of them by any means. Matter of fact, I just couldn't stand them. But the last one, I watched most of it, and even in the first 10 minutes, it was probably the worst YouTube thing I've ever seen in my life. It was just painfully horrific. She has no presence whatsoever, and I never wanted her on the channel. Did Kyle ever ask me if he could bring her on as a co-host? Oh, let me bring him back in here real quick. Welcome back. Did Kyle ever ask me if I could if to bring her on as a co-host? Did I ever get consulted in any way? To best of your knowledge?
To the best of my knowledge, no. But I will be the first person to admit that I thought you and him were talking way more than you did, obviously, behind the scenes, and I was blindsided by the fact that he was not communicating with you any more than he was communicating with me. In fact, in some cases, he communicated with me more than he did you.
Yeah, and that was a problem because I would rely on you going, "Hey, what's going on?" And you'd be like, "I don't know," and then you would message me, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know." So he didn't communicate with either one of us, and we both kind of figured that I figured he had to be communicating with you because you were producing this stuff. Come to find out, I was wrong about that. He didn't communicate with you. He didn't. And by the way, he didn't even communicate with Katie either. Katie on a stream on that non-apology video had said that she never knew when they were going on. She didn't get any of the times, and she's right on that. Kyle was very poor on that. But if Kyle and her were that close and I would have been harassing her in any way, there's not a doubt in my mind Kyle would have been all up in my ass on that. As right, he should have. So this narrative that because I know for a fact she's full of crap. I mean, absolutely. Now, again, I can't demonstrate that to people because it's he said, she said, but I can take her to court and make her prove her case, which she cannot do, which I have no doubt in my mind she cannot do. Zero chance of that happening because it did not happen. Again, her story has changed so many times, going from starting off with the medical fraud, the tax evasion, and then all of a sudden she was talking about Mercedes Carrera. I wasn't even talking about her. I was talking about somebody else in presence of her. She said, well, he wasn't really talking about me, but he was talking about somebody else in my presence. That's not sexual harassment. And then all of a sudden she's changing to, oh, well, he's talking about my breasts now. It's like that bullshit. I mean, like I said, the women that I do talk to in that kind of level are my friends, and we banter back and forth. We have that kind of open relationship where we can kid each other. And again, all my friends know each other. They all get the same information because I don't play this little game where I tell one person one thing and then one person another thing, like I think Katie does and other people do. So everybody's on the same page because I'm always going to be telling them the truth. So they know all this would be the case. I never once said a goddamn thing to her about anything related to her breast or my penis size. If anything was mentioned like that, it sure the hell wasn't talking about her. I mean, we all had made jokes. Like I said, GE used to talk about his penis size every single episode. I don't think he'd go an episode without talking about his penis size. I was never really a part of that. I thought that was just kind of base and juvenile. I never wanted the show to devolve into what Kyle and GE and KC and Katie wanted it to turn into. I didn't like the direction of the show. Bullinator didn't like the direction of the show. We were having concerns, and this is why we went to Kyle and said, hey, what the hell is going on here? Kawasa 5001. At first, I thought Smoking Nun was a non sequitur show segment, and why I was confused why Steve was not on it. You and me both. I didn't know anything about it the day before, dude. Literally, I think the day before launch, or they were talking about launching, Kyle decided to tell me something about it. And Katie wasn't sure either. She was like, is this us three doing something together or just us, me and Kyle? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Gwen $5 says, he who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. Worry about your life first, then bring her to justice for social harm she has brings to others. Well, again, she's bringing harm to people. She tried to harm Amber. She's lied about Leslie Bass. I stayed up last night for 3 hours listening to Leslie Bass just basically blow the entire thing wide open with Katie's bullshit and lies. I mean, Leslie was just livid, and she had every right to be. And it was a side, people will get this kind of joke, but it was a side of her I never saw before because people were kidding. Well, you don't know, you haven't know Leslie or Matt. Was it Matt from Team Mom was saying something to Katie about, well, I saw a different side of Leslie today I never saw before. And Katie took that to be like that Matt was getting all pissed off at her or something like that. And well, I saw a side of Leslie I didn't see before either. One of her actually just going after Katie and exposing her for what she is. And I think it's about time. And I'm very grateful for that because I told Leslie, look, I don't care who you hang out with. You could be a friend on her channel. You could be a mod, whatever. That's your business. But if you ever find out the truth one day, I would really appreciate if you were honest about it and said Steve was right about it, about her. She did. She tweeted it out. She for 3 hours last night, mentioned me many times how she should have listened to me and that I was right about Katie. I will be going on Leslie's channel to talk about this kind of stuff with her listeners, because they share a lot of listeners with Katie. And Katie was scared of this before. Katie did not want me going on Leslie's channel because they share so many of the same audience, and she does not want her audience exposed to this stuff. And I don't blame her, because we have the receipts. We have all the information we need to show Katie Paulson is lying. And I can prove that in a court of law, and I intend to. Isla Moon, $10. Also, happy holidays, and screw Kyle and his groupies. Toxicity breeds toxicity. Glad you're away from them. I got rid of a toxic group 2 or 3 years ago, and they still to this day will try to manipulate people into trying to come after me. They've done it for years. They're going to do it for years. It's all it's done is solidify my base. Bullinator has gotten rid of all of them as well. Red's Rhetoric has gotten rid of all of them as well. We've realized what kind of toxic people they are. But you know what? That's their business. They're free to go after whoever they want to if that's what they want to do. I'm not some kind of special snowflake or thin skin. I do think people are psychotic. I mean, the person like Heretic who wears my face to cook and sleep with, yeah, I think that's fucking crazy, straight up. And do I want to get concealed weapons permit? Yeah, but not because I think he's going to come over and do anything. But I know there's people like him that do live in the States, and I know there's people like him that are psychotic. And it's not a matter of fears. I believe in self-protection, and I have no problem with protecting myself. It's not a matter of these people I'm fear of them. If anything, I pity them, because if they would have spent the time building up their own channels and building up their own fan base, they might have actually had something rather than try to tear down everybody else's and ride our coattails. Because when I left the GDC, I made it very clear the reason why I'm leaving them. Well, I left that part of the GDC was that I wanted to make something, and I wanted to be productive. I didn't want to talk trash. I didn't want to be a part of a group that made things up. And Bullet, again, not to put you on the spot again, but have I said anything that is incorrect to your knowledge so far? Anything about this group? Not to mention specific names, because I don't talk about them on air.
Right? No, you have not. They've literally got this massive hate boner. And sorry about that. And they actually will take something that has nothing to do with you and try to use it to get to you.
Every time. And it's failed every time. Why? Because they never have the actual evidence. People are not stupid. I've cultivated a fan base of critical thinkers that can see through bullshit from a mile away. And I think every day that I have a very strong network of people like that. Ashley Hill, $5. I'm so happy I found your channel through Leslie Bass. Yeah, she's great. I don't really follow the reality TV stuff, Ashley. So I mean, I listen to Leslie occasionally, but it's not really something that I have much of an interest for. But I like the way she presents herself. I think she's completely honest. I've never seen her to lie or exaggerate or distort the truth, and that's the kind of people that I associate with. So when I get the Non Sequitur show back, hopefully, I want her to be kind of my correspondent person for the entertainment stuff. If we do like a segment on that, then I think this should be a great person to reach out to some of these reality people or something like that, and maybe get us my guest and have her on as well. I would be totally down for that to help build up her channel as well. Athena, Goddess of Wisdom and Welfare, $2. My family thinks I'm psychotic, Steve. There's a reason for that, Athena. No, I'm just kidding. You're a good person, man. I've already vouched for you. Intellectual Iclasm, $2. Off topic, Steve, but on guns. Non-sec range day. Oh, to go shooting and have a non-sec range day.
Yeah, that would be fun. But I don't know if he's asking that. I think he might actually be asking, what's the expected restart date or reset date for the Non Sequitur Show channel?
Oh, I thought it was like he wants to go shooting and have target practice with some of these people's pictures or something. That would be a little creepy. Well, here's the thing. Kyle has till December 9th to explain to the judge why he hasn't opened the books and why I shouldn't get the channel back. We know that's not going to happen. And so after that, then it'll be an order. 14 days after that, he has to turn the channel over to me and the books. So either way, he has to at least tell the judge why he hasn't opened them yet, or he has to open them, or he'll be in front of the judge on the contempt of court charge, civil contempt of court, which is still something that you can go to jail for. After that, once we get it back, I figure it'll take several weeks to get the channel actually going, because I want to line up guests, weeks in advance. Cheshire, myself, and Bull, and numerous other people are working on getting new themes and things like that. Bullinator will be producing it. Bullinator just stopped being a producer for certain other people because of a lot of things that have gone down. And I want to get him working again. I want him to get a percentage of the Non Sequitur Show, unlike what Kyle did. because I think that he's an integral part of Non Sequitur Show. So it's not just him producing. I want him to be literally a part of it, because I thought it was weird that Kyle would use your image, Bull, but then never really treat you as, you know, a member of the Non Sequitur thing, because it was trying to get him to pay for anything was just like pulling teeth. And the only reason he did straight up was because he knew that if you didn't have electricity, you couldn't produce. That was it. And I thought that was pretty crappy myself.
Well, there was that, and then there was there was the fact that I thought what you actually gave me, because Steve actually gave me a fairly large chunk of money during the time, and I thought that was coming from the Non Sequitur Show too. And turns out it was coming out of his personal bank account, and as much as I appreciate it, I never would have taken it had I known that.
I didn't tell you. I mean, look, I know you needed it. I told Kyle that the first couple of times, you needed money. I told him, he did pay me back. Kyle did pay me back. So that's the only time I ever actually did get money from him, was literally when I was out of pocket. So I don't consider that being paid for anything. I just been reimbursed. But after a while, he stopped reimbursing. And then I was just like, oh, you know what? Put it on the P&L report at the end of the year. And I have comments with that. I literally told him, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out at the end of the year. Just put it on the profit and loss report, because that was the books. And then after a while, I was like, I don't think it has that. And I was like, whatever, I'm just going to give you straight cash, and told Kyle not to even worry about it, because I don't think he was even keeping the books. But I want to make sure that you were taken care of. But like I said, I mean, if I start a legal fund next year for this, I will be in touch with my lawyer. Like I said, I sent him an email already. I don't know how it works. I wanted to finish the court case with Kyle first, obviously. And I think that because I have a very solid ground of that he committed fraud, and because he's been found for fraud, fraudulent conversion, unjust enrichment, breach of duty, and breach of fiduciary contract. And we're going to be going after him for well over $100,000. Now, will I ever collect on that? Probably not, obviously. But it shows that Katie's story of me committing fraud was prima facie bullshit. Right. And so she, as somebody who claims herself to be a journalist, who puts out a narrative that is willfully on its face wrong, she admitted that it was wrong after she saw the evidence, absolutely said, yes, this was Kyle's lying to me. Even GE, who said that Kyle was lying to him, Caitlin Chloe said he was lying to her, and Mr. Atheist that said that he was lying to her. I have all this on record. So for her to say that I committed fraud or tax evasion, we all know was bullshit. That's defamation per se, because she's continued the pattern of defamation by now saying that I sexually harassed her. And all I did ask her was for an apology. That all she had to do was say, you know what, I may have misconstrued what you said. I took it out of context, whatever. I would have bought it. I at least would have said, fine, whatever. I gave her every opportunity to try to rectify the situation, just like I did Kyle. And Bullinator can tell you how many times we tried to get something from Kyle as a sit down and have a conversation and talk, and he wouldn't do it. Because I really do like to negotiate. I like to say things settled, but they like to do things the hard way. Kyle has always been like that. He wants to do things the hard way. Clearly, Katie wants to do things the hard way as well. I'm okay with that, because I've always won. People know that I've won every court case I've had, and I've been mocked for that, but it's true. Go look. I've won against Superior Irrigation District. I've won against numerous renters when they're subletting that they ruined the place. I won judgments against them. I will only take somebody to court if I think I have an actual case. I think I have an actual case for defamation per se. Now, until I get legal confirmation of that from my lawyer, I can't say for certainty. And I will let you guys know if he tells me I don't have a case or not. But I want you to know that I definitely was thinking and considering this, because when she puts out this narrative, I was never threatened to be sued. Oh, no one ever threatened to sue me. I never retracted anything. She's outright lying, because I have the actual tweets on my Instagram and on Twitter that she did apologize, and she did try to retweet it, and she did try to hide that video, and she did strike my other channel for uploading her apology video, or non-apology video, that Chesh and I went over on Caffeine Corner. So either way, something good comes from this, because even if my lawyer says, you know what, you probably don't have a case, although I think he would admit that it is a form of defamation, but defamation normally is proven by itself. It's basically without contest, because there's certain things that a person says about something that wins automatically, kind of thing. And I think this rises to that level, but I'm not a lawyer, and I want to get some professional legal advice on it. But even if not the case, I want this video out there, because I want people to know that I am seriously consider this. I'm not bluffing. I don't ever bluff. Anybody who thinks I'm bluffing in the future should know that they're going to be found out the hard way, that I do not. And that's what I want from my channel. I want people to know that I'm dead serious on these things. I don't lie. I don't exaggerate the truth. I'm straightforward, and I always bring, information and evidence to support everything I've said. There are certain things that I don't go into, only because there is private communications I had with people, and I will not release private communications. If people can't understand that, oh well, I don't think I can do about that. But we just had somebody in our community that released private information about something, very private information about somebody, not just to anybody, but to the person who was stalking and abusing them. That to me is considered to be a breach of trust of monumental proportions. That is unforgivable. And many of you have seen this video. Many of you know who we're talking about. And it is very poignant, very raw, that the people that are coming after me, the people that are accusing me of things, the people that are saying that I am a narcissist, or that I have mental issues, or I am somehow a bad guy, they're the ones that always have this weird projection, because everything they've said seems to be fitting them to a T. And I'm so open. If you have any questions, people come to me. I'm literally inundated with messages all day long. I can guarantee most people listening have messaged me at some point in time via Twitter DM or Facebook asking me about something, and I've responded to them in a very cordial type way. You come after me sideways, like somebody had to do today. They're like, you just need to move on, and you should be focusing more on your life. And I'm like, you know what? You need to shut the fuck up and focus on your life. Goodbye. I don't tolerate that kind of stuff. Come after me sideways, you're going to be blocked. I don't have the time to waste for people like that. But if you're earnest, if you really have a desire to know the facts and the truth, and you come after me, or not after me, you come to me, I will spend hours, literally hours, with people trying to explain to them the facts. Hopefully I usually get through. Most of the time I think I do. There are sometimes I don't. It is what it is. You can't please everybody. But I am going to open this up for Q&A real quick in the live chat. If you've got questions on this, I'll answer what I can. But please get this to Katie. Get this to her followers. I am not joking around with this. I am dead ass serious. She has lied about too many people too many times, and I'm sick of it. Because if she's got evidence, bring it. I even offered $100 to the charity of her choice to give me an hour of her time for her to show her evidence, and we can have a discussion. I rescinded that now. I take that back, because as somebody rightfully pointed out to me, I think it was Chester, said, no, Steve, she should do this on her own accord. You shouldn't have to, bribe her to do that. Good point. And I think Chester's exactly right. I think that Katie Paulson, who always says, oh, I really stand for truth, I believe in truth. Well, if that's the case, then why are you blocking everybody that's asking you for the truth? Why are you blocking anybody that's saying that they coming to me, or they've talked to me, Katie? Because you're full of crap.
Another big question is, why the fuck did you block me when I was telling you were wrong, which is what a friend would do? I was blocked not just by her, but by Godless Engineer when I told them they were both wrong about what was going on, and they were spreading misinformation. I got blocked both times.
And you were her bestie, she said. She said the friendship that came out of that whole thing was you, yet she blocked you. And I'm like, wait a minute here. Bullinator, okay, we had a meeting, and again, not to drag it out again, because most people know about this, but there's a video on this channel called Whose Side is Telling the Truth? Go watch it. That and the Death of the Non Sequitur Show. But Whose Side is Telling the Truth was a actual recording of a meeting that Bullinator and I, my attorney in fact, not my lawyer, but my attorney in fact, Glenn, and Reds Rhetoric had with Kyle. At no time was there an actual lawyer in there. At no time did Kyle's lawyers show up and say, hey, you need to stop talking about this, Steve, or you're not going to get any money. Let me show you how you have no leg to stand on. This was her words. This is what Katie has said. And I'm like, no, there was never a lawyer there, Katie. Matter of fact, what was talked about was Kyle saying that he was going to bring the books the following week and open them up, and we would try to work something out from the books. But there's never a payment plan. There was never a settlement. There was never a negotiation. There was not going to be legal proceedings. None of what you said was true, because she said, oh, it's over, it's done, they've resolved things. No. She contacted Kyle on that and actually told him, hey, this is what you said to me. And Kyle just kind of obfuscated it and said, well, no, it wasn't really this, it wasn't really that, but this, and this. But Bullinator was in that meeting, and he had told Katie, no, none of this has happened. There was no lawyer in there. And everything you said was wrong. And what did Katie do to her bestie? Blocked him. She will block anybody who questions her ethics. She will block anybody who questions the narrative. Now, I get that in some way. You question my evidence, my integrity, my honor, you better have a goddamn good reason. I don't mind people doing it, but you better give me an argument. If you do not have something valid, I probably will block you too. So I get that. But this was Bullinator, one of the most neutral parties in the world. Bullinator doesn't do tribalism. We are friends. I consider him one of my closest friends. But I know sure as shit that if I fuck up and I do something wrong or I do something harmful or mean, he's going to come after me. He's going to say something. He will not hold his tongue, nor would I expect him to. Nor would I expect any of my friends to do so. I have like I said, I have a very tight group of friends, and I respect all of them for that very reason, because they know they can come to me and they can tell me things, and I will listen to them. I don't mind their criticism because I respect their criticism, and then we'll talk about it. And when we reach some mutual understanding, either we'll agree to disagree, or I'll say, hey, you know what, you got a good point. And I'll take that on board, or I just don't think that it's that great of a thing, or I'd rather go this way. But as Nick even pointed out before, he thought something was wrong. He thought I said something that was wrong. And I thought about it for a while. And I looked into it, and I sure as shit, he was right. And I was like, okay, you know what? I messed up. I was right. I misremember things. It happens. I'm not ashamed to admit that I have made mistakes, that I have misremembered things, but I can't remember everything. But when it comes to this, there's no misremembering. None of this happened with Katie. Just absolutely nothing. Her story has changed 4 or 5 times. It's just absolutely absurd that she could start saying things. I was talking about somebody else, Mercedes Carrera, if that's the case, on Twitter, and all of a sudden it's about her. No, that's not how it works. That's how any of this works, Katie. Insidious Vids, $5. Thanks for the apology, Katie. Now, please direct me to the place where I can go where I get my reputation back. Yeah, look, I would have to show probably that. Well, I don't know how defamation per se works as far as damage to my reputation. I don't know if I have to show damage. Probably I can. I mean, there's obviously I think there's damage because I have people that have talked about these kinds of things for months now. I still have somebody on my Facebook today, a guy named Kyle Frick on my Facebook. I don't even know who he is barely. And he was running this narrative. Well, Steve contradicted himself. He said to hold money here, not hold money here. And I explained him in very detail on my Facebook page. I was talking about something very specific, and then I was talking about something completely different, and he didn't want to believe that. And I'm like, now you're just running narrative then.
I'm going to interrupt here. I'm going a little tangent here because somebody in the chat who I thought was a friend, and I don't recall ever doing this to them, says I timed them out when they were the only one telling everyone what a POS Kyle is. And it's just, Astro Rex, if I timed you out by accident, it was just that. It was an accident. That happens sometimes on mobile.
Friendly fire.
Trying to get friendly fire, and it was not meant as anything personal towards you, dude. We were together in Soundly's chat on the 24/7 live streams, and we were all part of that team. So, like that's news to me that I did something wrong to that person. And if I did, I truly, honestly apologize if you took that in the wrong way, because I would never time someone out just for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, it happens. Friendly fire.
People I time out know there's certain people I time out on site, and there's other people that are just target practice, like multi tom tom. but yeah. I don't time people out unless they're doing something gross violation of that community's rules.
Yeah,
and I do. And I recognize that different channels have different rules as a moderator too. So
most of the time, if somebody requires a timeout, they're probably going to get hit in it. Without a crystal ball, says Steve, that the point of defamation per se is the damage taken is given. Yeah, and I know that too. I know that defamation per se is a tort that doesn't require anything other than the fact that they've said it. I do recognize that. However, I want something. If I go to court, I want beyond that. I want not just beyond a reasonable doubt or not just preponderance of the evidence as a case. I want it to be beyond that. I want Katie to have to show a shred of evidence, and when she has none, and I have all the evidence against her that's on public record, that could be, I must say it, that could be held against her in perpetuity. There you go. Yeah, I'm just, you have no idea how morally reprehensible this person is to make these charges to Me Too me when she knows damn well it never happened, because she knows probably how I am with some other people that I care about. She sees me on Twitter. I could be very I don't know the word flirtatious, but I mean, I'm very open with certain people on Twitter, but I got to tell you, ask any of them. We've talked to each other and asked permission to be like this with each other, especially in this day and age. And I can tell you the names of those people. I'm not going to, but they could. I give them full permission to say who they are if they just chose to do so. Every one of them, they can do so if they wish to. I don't feel the need to call them out like that. But yes, I do. I do make sure that a person's comfortable with me joking with them like that. I'm not an idiot. Ashley, $5. I'm interested in all things. Entertainment would be the bottom. I find you to be very credible. Remind me of a radio host. I appreciate that. I don't think I'd be any good on radio, but I'm going to be doing a cable show, I think, eventually on YouTube. I know reasons to believe they want me to do a show with Dr. Fuzz Rana. It'll be a monthly show, once a month from West Covina Studio. And I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be something to bridge it out between believers and non-believers, because they know I'm not a believer. But they like that. I like the fact that I try to bridge the gap and I get people to have conversations, to facilitate conversations, rather than just the basal dialogue that you usually see with people that disagree and throughout all these, like, oh, you just believe in the sky daddy kind of thing. We like to have a little more upscale conversations between people that believe and don't believe. But I have no dog in the fight. I keep telling people I'm more apathetic when it comes to it. I don't care if you're a theist or an atheist. I care if you have a reasonable position that you can defend and articulate and want to discuss. That's what I enjoy very much. And I always been like that. But I know this is like entertainment and drama in some ways. I understand that as public figures, we put out product that people watch for whatever reasons, and a lot of it is for entertainment value. I understand that. But this is people's lives. This is literally people's lives that people talking about. When she tried to do a probation violation for Amber Portwood, that's affecting her life. And Mark, who came on Leslie Bass's stream last night, Matt came on her stream last night, Leslie Bass's stream. Matt is, I guess, Amber's ex-boyfriend. He made it very clear. He was like, yeah, I talked to Katie, but Katie exaggerated the truth, and Katie lies. Straight up, she lies. No hesitation. Leslie said, well, have you ever seen me lie? He's like, no, I've never seen you lie, Leslie. You've always been 100% honest with me, and I can vouch for her as well. I've never seen Leslie lie in any way or exaggerate. She's always been straight up with me. So I watch her for that, right? Because that's the people that I want to have around me. But now that you have Matt from Team Mom saying that Leslie lies, not Leslie, I'm sorry, Katie lies. I have pointed out how many times she's lied. There's so many different people in the live chat that know her now that have seen her lie. Enough. Where does it stop? Where is all this? Where does it the justice here for somebody who has effectively tried to ruin people's reputations? I don't think people should get away with that. I just don't. Now, there's a group of people that do this. We know that, but they're so marginalized, and they basically have destroyed their own reputations that I don't need to help do anything to their reputation. They've done to themselves. But Katie's getting pretty popular, and this is disconcerting. Not because I'm envious. People have said, well, you're just riding her coattails. Let me make this very clear to people. Katie was a nobody on YouTube until we reached out to her. She had about 1,000 subs maybe. But Kyle and I brought her in to do a show on the Non Sequitur show to talk about Jilly Juice. She did a decent job in it for all practical purposes. But she didn't know anything about YouTube. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, Bulinaid, didn't you kind of give her tips and help her how to stream?
Oh, yeah, definitely. She came to me for lots of different advice. I even ran her one of her streams about Toddy's and what was it, Andrew? Or I forget. They were having basically one was losing subs and one was gaining subs, and we were watching the subs go up and down.
Iconoclasm says, have you reported her to the hosting sites? I hadn't thought about that. I mean, if she's on Instagram and she's making these comments, I don't know how much liability there is. All my accusations I can back up because I'm not accusing her of anything that's false. She's literally accusing me of things that are false. I don't think the platforms will do anything about that because those are just accusations. She's not inciting anybody. Although I have literally private screenshots people sent me of her saying, go send the troops out to harass Steve, basically. She calls them the troops. So when people say, well, Steve has a smog, what is it? What does Cheskar call the army? Smog. What does she call the supposed army I have? Oh, I don't even know. That's how it's smug army, goblin army. I don't know. Smob, thank you. Smob tells you how much. I tell you, I'm a crap leader. So the Smob army. I've told people, if I ever asked anybody to go download a video, harass somebody, ever? I mean, no, this has never happened. Have I ever said to somebody, you cannot be around my channel if you go to this person's stream? Now, people can say, well, 5 years ago, you were talking about G-Man, and you said if G-Man, anybody goes to G-Man stream, you're not going to have them in your streams. What I said actually was I was not going to have them around for 24 hours as a silent kind of protest because of the shit that G-Man was doing, especially something that he was talking about with a very dear friend of mine. And that, just like 24 hours turned into 2 weeks because somebody had said, why don't you make it 2 weeks? And that turned into this narrative of, well, Steve said if you hang out with G-Man, then you can't go to his streams. That never happened. Bullinator was there.
I was actually in that stream when all this went down. So I was like, I've been around, guys.
And it's, I don't know if you remember the exact details, but did I ever say, hey, look, if you go hang out with G-Man, you could never come to my channel, or you're banned? Did I ever pull any of that crap?
No, you basically said the whole, if you can, as a form of protest, and basically what would happen to anybody if you just ignore them on the internet, they disappear into obscurity.
And I thought that people were giving G-Man too much time. I thought that they were, and by the way, one of the reasons I couldn't stand the group that I left is because not this where I don't mind them going after G-Man for what he says. I did that, and I still will, always will. But they were going after him personally, calling his work, trying to, I think, make him take his own life. I think that they were trying to drive him mental. I don't condone this. I didn't want anything to be a part of this. I never advocated a position where you should ever do anything to anybody in real life. They do. I don't do that, and so my ethical standings is completely different from the group of people that I saw actively try to harm G-Man in his real life. I don't condone that, no matter what kind of person he is. And I know that other people have as well. Again, I'm not going to mention specific names, but there are names out there that will be coming out with very detailed information about all this eventually. I know for a fact because I've read it, some things, I've seen it, but it's on their time, right? I'm not going to like push them because it's something that is unique to everybody's perspective. And even though there's a consensus between all of our perspectives, I think each person has to like tell it from their own point of view. And then people can figure it out on their own. But like I said, Bull here has been there from the beginning. He was my moderator in the Great Debate community. He's seen everything that I've talked about. If I ever told you guys anything that was wrong, misleading, misinformative, or a lie, I have absolutely no doubt in my mind Bullinator would say something, both publicly and privately. Now, I'd hope he'd come to me privately first and maybe kind of work it out. But if you called me out in public, that'd be fine too. But you know what? He never has. Because I have never told you guys anything that wasn't true. Told you guys things I couldn't back up. So when people say, well, there's contradictions here, why don't you ask me about contradictions and say, hey, Steve, you said this here, but you also said this here. How do you explain that? I'm happy to do so. Like the holding money thing. I've explained that numerous times, and it makes sense when you listen to it in context. So if you don't want to believe that, then at that point in time, I don't think you're an honest person, because Bullinator was there. He understands what I meant by all this. I mean, Bullinator, when I first talked to Kyle about all this, and he wanted to make all this into some kind of legal stuff, and it was before it got monetized, and there was some revenue coming in. I don't remember from whether it was a PayPal or from Streamlabs, whatever it was. It was a nominal amount, but it wasn't like we were getting huge amounts from our revenue stream yet from the AdSense, because that wasn't kicked in to, I don't know, June or July or something. So
yeah, we didn't actually get monetized, I think, till July of 2018.
Right. Okay.
Like
July.
it was really like there was actually a delay in monetizing the channel, a really long one, after we qualified.
So
because we had the time and we had the subs we had almost 20,000, I think, when we got monetized.
Yeah, and I remember when we hit our 2,000. I remember that thing we made 2,000, yeah, and then 20,000, then 30,000. But when I told Kyle, hey, hold on to whatever money there is there, which is going to be, I'm telling you, tens or twenties of dollars. Just let's figure out how we're going to do dispersions. Let's figure out how we're going to do the taxes. That's what I meant by that. This was in 2017, before we were making any kind of real money. Afterwards, when we were starting to make real money, Kyle offered, because I was like, I need some money now. I don't really want to wait much longer. He said, I'll give you $1,000 a month stipend until I can take out a large sum, which is the amount after he did his taxes on April 15th. That never happened. So me telling him to hold money was never for anything illegal, never for anything to hide funds, never thing to get around medical. It was solely that I wanted to make sure taxes were paid properly. And it was a nominal amount at best. I don't think we made $100 probably at the time. And so people that conflate this, well, you did say you told them to hold money. Yes, because I was trying to be technically as possible with people because I'm a very open person. So I said, well, yes, technically there was some money come in, and I don't remember where it was from. It was a nominal amount. I'm pretty sure it was PayPal. I was like, don't worry about it right now. We'll figure it out at a certain time, but I want to make sure all taxes are paid. And Brule, did I not send an email message to Kyle saying, I have been screwed over with taxes before. I want to make sure this is done right.
Yeah, you did. And also, you were asking him to hold it contingent upon you seeing the books.
And that was later on, though.
Later on when we actually had a significant income as a channel.
Because I didn't trust him. I was like, look, you're not going to just like pay me some money, and I'm not going to see the revenue stream. Because he was paying for some things on Facebook for ad revenue. He was paying for we're trying ads. I know he was paying for FM. FM radio? I know he was paying for that. We paid for Zoom. So there was expenditures. So on a P&L report, you have all your profit and losses, expenditures, owner's equity, all these different things that factor in on the P&L report. I wanted to see the budget. I wanted to see exactly the breakdown of all the numbers. He would never show it. And so I'm not taking a dime until I see these books, because I don't want him to ever say, hey, look, I paid you off. I paid you what it is. You took it. No, I didn't trust him. And so, yeah, I was like, I will take money. I want the money, but I want to see the books. Who in the right mind wouldn't have done that? That's not him holding money for any kind of illegal reasons. I wouldn't have gone to court if I thought that I have any liability legal wise. None. I mean, why would I have sued for this? Why would I put myself in a jeopardizing position? I knew damn well I did nothing wrong. He ran a narrative because he didn't want to pay me, and you still have people. Literally, I had somebody on my Facebook the other day, like I said, still trying to run this narrative. So this shit has affected me with people that are dumb enough to buy into people like Katie's bullshit. And when I said before about how most of her mom, or maybe not even most, but many of her subs, I said were stay-at-home moms, probably uneducated, and that's not a ubiquitous statement. All stay-at-home moms that she tried to make it out to be. I've seen some of her fans; they are dumb. No offense, they are dumb. I mean, the person that was talking to her last night. This person was like, Steve, he seems like a meth head or something. Excuse me. I have never done meth in my life. I've never done hard drugs in my life at all, ever. That right there is defamation per se. I mean, this is the kind of people that she wants around. This is her audience. And then I go to Leslie Bass's audience. She had 380 people watching last night. They were cool as shit. There was no problem. So, I mean, and most of them were stay-at-home moms. So this narrative that Katie was like, well, Steve's just talking about stay-at-home moms. Bullshit. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But this is what she does. Sidious Viz, $2. Got to run, Steve. Have a good tea day and be safe. Thank you, bud. Roland asked, do you think Kyle paid any taxes from Manus? I have no idea if he paid taxes or not. I really have no idea. He never said. He said, okay, yeah, he said he did. He said he had a CPA accountant. That was a lie. He said he had a lawyer. That was a lie. So I don't know what's up. He's disappeared with $60,000 plus. It's gone. Katie, I will hold Katie, Mr. Atheist, God Engineer, and Caitlin Chloe, always partly responsible for that, because they help enable him by running false narrative, So, and if I have to make it into a class action suit or a multi-pronged suit, I might be okay with that. I'm not taking anything off the table. These people lied about me, and their non-apology was just basically, well, I trusted Kyle. Kyle said this, therefore I ran with this. That's not a legitimate excuse, especially from a group of so-called skeptics. So, I'm a little, when I get passionate, I admit, I do. I try to hold back my emotions. I really do. I mean, I'm not really a very visceral type person. I'm not really an emotional kind of person. And so when I do get animated and when I do get upset, there's reasons for it. And I'm very passionate behind what I believe in. I don't do this because, hey, I'm capitulating to an audience. I don't do this because I want to get subs. I do this because I really believe in it, and I'm hoping that people follow because they want to watch it. If I wanted to be a sellout, I would have pulled bullshit like Mr. Atheist would have done. I would have sucked up to people like Aaron Raw and Matt Dillahunty rather than call them out for them being wrong. Okay? So, I mean, I'm not one of those people that are just going to tribalistically placate people because I want to be popular in the cool kids. Never going to happen. I will always probably have a small following because of that. But I got to tell you what, the core people that have been with me know that I will always be like that and have been over like that, and they can trust me because of that. I don't think they can say that about certain other content creators, to be honest with you. God's Auditor says, I didn't trust you right around the time that you got kicked off because you were butting heads on the GDC. Instead of going to Kyle, I went to you, and I'm glad I did. And I appreciate the God's Honor. And you know, I've been tight ever since then. In fact, I mean, the dude has bought me, like I put in the kitchen, but dude has bought me scotch. I mean, thank you for that. And so, yeah, I'm telling people, come to me. I will spend hours on end trying to explain to people these situations. I don't mind that because I have the facts. And anybody that comes out there throwing accusations and throwing things about me, I guarantee it's all spin. Go ask them for actual evidence. They never have any. It's all narrated spin, all of it. Kawasa 5001. We only have chicken here. It's been like 20 years since I've had Thanksgiving turkey. I'm not a big holiday person, to be honest with you. I wish I was. My daughter is with her stepfather for the week, and so I got really nobody to spend Thanksgiving with. But I'm cool with that. It does. Holidays don't really bother me that much. I go out for Veterans Day, every Veterans Day. Matter of fact, Bull and Nader talk about, hey, where are you going to go? What you going to get for free grub, man? Thank you, God's Auditor, for that super sticker. Yeah, appreciate it, buddy. In fact, I look forward to that every year, the Veterans Day thing, and I make sure that Bull and Nader gets a good meal. Did you get a good meal this year?
Oh yeah, definitely went and got something good to eat.
I love the fact that veterans get food. You know, it still costs you. You can pay for drinks. You pay, you know, in the long run, you save about half price kind of thing. But because you know we do buy a lot of stuff, but that's their whole. They make money. But it's a nice gesture that these restaurants do by giving vets free meals and free offers. I think that's great.
The best value, of course, is an all-you-can-eat place, which is where
I don't have any of those down here. Oh, like a hometown buffet. There was a hometown buffet here, but I don't know what they were offering.
Golden Corral.
Golden Corral. You're right. Oh my goodness. How can I forget? Yeah, I did go to Golden Corral this week. This time I didn't go last time. I went to Golden Corral this time. I was thinking about hometown buffet for something, but you're right. Hometown buffet. Golden Corral. We went to, but the problem was the reason why it didn't sit with me is about an hour earlier. We went to Applebee's with my daughter, and so I was full. So yeah, I did go to Golden Corral. All you could eat.
You didn't get the value of all you can eat.
I had like the sugary stuff, like all this dessert stuff. So yeah, I didn't get the full value because I was already stuffed. Because
their blueberry pie is the shit.
Well, my other roommate actually works at Golden Corral. He's ex-military too. Bitters knows best. Steve, we've got your back. 100%. Katie's a liar and spinning a narrative, and her fundraiser is bullshit. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Brittany, for bringing that up. I'm going to talk about that in a second. God's Auditor, if you guys were closer, I'd invite you for Italian Thanksgiving. Ooh, yeah, I bet you don't mess around. But yeah, Katie's having a fundraiser for McDonald's house or something. I'm all for fundraisers. I have some issues with this one. And I'm not going to accuse her of anything. This is not making any accusations. But I will tell you, it's very questionable that she says she wanted to do it through her own personal PayPal so she can track it rather than do it for Facebook that does automatic tracking. Now, she has changed it to a GoFundMe, but she got it wrong. She has said that GoFundMe doesn't take anything out of the profits. Yeah, they do. So she can't even get that right. And so there's a lot of unanswered questions right with that, to say the least. Fourth Dimensional Jake, $5. Ask E about contradictions. Okay, Steve McCray, how do you resolve the contradictions in the gospel? LOL, just got here. How are you today? They're not resolvable. So I think there's actually some hardcore contradictions in the Bible. I think some of them are resolvable, but the problem is even if they're resolvable, they're still contradictions, right? It's just that they're explainable contradictions. They're not logical contradictions. So there's a kind of a distinction to be made there. Yeah, give straight to Ronald McDonald's house. Yeah, cool. What does Katie have to do anything? Why would money ever even have to go through Katie? Katie's, and again, I don't ever want to bring up her family, or, well, I shouldn't say that. I'll bring up her husband eventually, but I want to bring up her son because her son is innocent in all this. And I don't think anybody should ever say anything negative or question anything about her son. That's just bullshit. But she has said she does everything for her son. Yet she just got Botox injections. She's getting her lips done. I'm sorry, but this is vanity. This is somebody who's narcissistic about their appearance, that goes on stream literally like what, 6, 7, 8, 9 times a day. She wakes up, she's on stream. Oh, look at me. She has to have constant attention, constant adoration. And she's not the only one in our community like that. There's other people. And it's a pattern with certain people. And you see it with her especially, that she wants to be praised and validated on her streams constantly. Hey, look, I appreciate when people agree with me, and I have a running joke. Steve was right, because I like to hear that. Sure. But I also like when people disagree, so we can have conversations. I don't want to be validated. I want to have discussions. I don't need somebody else to for my own self-worth. I am so happy right now in my life. It's incredible. And people know some of the reasons for that. But I know that there are people out there that for some reason do not think highly of themselves, have this combination of low self-esteem and massive ego. I don't even know how it works in the same person, and they constantly need to be fed that. And I think that Katie's in that ballpark. I think she's a narcissist. I think she's ego-driven. At the same time, I think she has bouts of low self-esteem, and she has to be brought back up. I don't know if that's bipolar. I'm not a medical person. I have no idea. But I've seen her go from one transition to the other. But I really don't care about any of that. But when you say that you do everything for your son, and all of a sudden you're getting Botox injections and lip enhancers, you're gone all Hollywood? Come on, whatever. Let's see here. Do you know if Chesh is still edging Rez? He's running late. I don't know. Sure.
See,
I don't know what that means.
He was planning on going live.
Yeah.
I don't know if edge is the correct word there, but
yeah,
it's possible. I don't know.
When checked, the last likes and dislikes on that video is 28 dislikes to 23 likes. She disabled likes. Oh yeah. Look, I think that a lot of her fans are going to know the truth. I know she's getting she was getting like 2, 3, 4, 500 up to 900 subs a day because she released the audio of Amber having a fight, which, by the way, did find out she did try to sell. Matt did in a roundabout way kind of validated that she did try to sell it, because he had told her, I don't think you can get much from it from TMZ. Clearly they were talking about selling it to TMZ, because she wanted the phone number to TMZ to sell that tape to them. She then lied and said, I never tried to sell it. Bull crap. So I don't trust her when it comes to the money at all. This is why I'm saying for her to do a charity is just really disconcerting to me. I've seen other people try to run charities for wrong reasons, and it bothers me. I've never done a GoFundMe. I've had people say, hey, Steve, why don't you do a GoFundMe for yourself or whatever, especially after non sequitur show stuff. Why don't you get reimbursed? I didn't want to do a GoFundMe for that. I want people to Patreon to me. I want people to watch my stuff. That's how I want to get revenue. I want to earn it because I want people to watch what I have to say and listen, and then come on the channels and we'll talk about things. If I ever get in a position where I need to GoFundMe, that's great. But I've never been at that point. I know other people that have, and I'm happy to give to those GoFundMes. Red's had a GoFundMe for his car. I'm pretty sure Bullinator had a GoFundMe that I donated to. I'm happy to do those things, but for somebody to run certain GoFundMes that I've seen in the past, and this was a while ago, I had to question it, and I even said, hey, you know what, this is questionable here. And then I got massive crap for that, but I still spoke my mind. I think not to go into details, but do you know offhand what I'm referring to? Which fundraiser?
Are you talking about the one for me or the one I started for Allison?
Neither. There was one before that with somebody that had a fundraiser. Somebody's going to have a fundraiser for Sean Hufford, but decided to change it to something else. Remember that? Does that ring a bell?
Vaguely.
Okay. I'll tell you in private, because like I said, that's it's somebody else is going to tell that story. It's not going to be me, and I know eventually that's going to come out. But anyways, yeah, I really have an issue with people running questionable fundraisers. And I think this might be one of them. Again, I'm not accusing her or anything. I'm not saying that she's trying to take the money for herself, but it is kind of weird that she says that she's doing it all for her son. She's spending $10,000 in remodeling. She's got a nanny or some sort. She's getting Botox. It's all about her. It's always been all about Katie. Let's see here. Let's see. Katie lies multiple times on literally every single video she does or live she does. It's unbelievable to watch. I know. Oh, I'm well aware of it. Here's the thing. I don't watch on Instagram. I have an Instagram account of two. One that started for me, and the other one that I started as kind of a repository of tweets. And I don't upload a lot to it, but I'm trying to upload more to it. But let me add him in here real quick. There we go. But I don't watch her streams. But people do is they send me clips. A lot of people send me clips, and I appreciate that. And then somebody has sent me the clip today of basically Katie, changing her story once again. Not just was I talking about my penis size, which I've gone on air on Roman Cup nights and said, hey, look, I am statistically average. I got nothing to brag about. So I don't know what the hell she's talking about there. If she wants to go ask people that date, go ahead, knock yourself out if you're that interested. I got nothing to be ashamed of, but I'm just normal. But for her to say that I was somehow talking about her boobs when no, she was talking about Mercedes boobs. I like boobs. I have talked about women's boobs before. Yes, but not hers. I mean, just what the hell? I mean, I don't get that. I never had that kind of rapport with her. I was never friends with her. I mean, did I ever get along with her? Could you even imagine me talking to her about this kind of stuff and harassing her? It's not even in the realm of reality.
No, it's not. And to comment further, it's Mercedes Carrera. I mean, have you seen her? I'm going to be accused of harassment next if I say too much more.
That's her
she's
living.
She's a damn fine woman.
That's her living is to be praised like that. And by the way, I also added in the fact that I thought she was articulate and intelligent, and she was a great and fabulous guest. Did I sexually harass Mercedes Carrera when she was on? No. Right? And she's a porn star. Have you ever seen me been inappropriate to a guest?
No.
Have you seen Kyle being inappropriate to a guest? Because I've seen him hit on people in real time.
I have. Yes. I have too. Yeah.
I mean, he was hitting on people all the time. I never did. I mean, it's just how backwards some of this shit is. It's just mind-boggling. The projection level of people, and then they try to spin the narrative that it's somehow me. No, it's not. And this is why I do really seriously want to go to court and take Katie Joy Paulson to court on defamation per se for her to make her case. And when she can't, not only will I be vindicated, it'll show her followers that she is a manipulative liar. And I will stand my ground on that and willing to do so. Again, I can't be for sure if I could follow through on this. I probably have to get a lawyer in Minnesota. But to say that I'm not seriously considering it would be a lie, which she has lied about before. I mean, in fact, when I decided to actually kind of accept her first non-apology, Without a Crystal Balls came to me. And she said, hey, Steve, you're kind of making a mistake here because Katie's going to screw you over and Katie's, not apologetic. I told her I know this. I'm well aware of this. But I had bigger fish to fry at the time. Those fish have been fried. I still have other people. But now I probably could dedicate myself more toward holding Katie responsible. And I have changed my Twitter account to Katie Paulson Engineer, not to harass her, not to bully her, not by any stretch of imagination. It is to hold her accountable for the things she has said. And I want everybody else to hold her accountable for the things she has said. That's all I've asked. Not to harass her, not to bully her, and I even tell people, look, if you ask her about this stuff, all she's going to do is block you. You can't. I'm not going to send people over to go get blocked, but I'm telling them right now, if you actually ask her about this, you will be blocked, period, without question. Doesn't matter if you're her bestie. Look what she did to Bully and her bestie. Originals on Nielsen. Jeeves is a gentleman and a ninja when it comes to classy use of innuendo. I appreciate that. I take that as a sincere compliment. I like to be funny, and I like to be sexually explicit sometimes. People I trust, and I like double entendres. I have a dirty sense of humor sometimes. I'm not PC. Never claimed to be, right? but I only with those people that I know are like that in kind. You know, I mean, like I have, like for example, I don't know if you know her. I have what is a Twitter crush, a TC. Her name is Eli. Or Ellie, sorry, Ellie, and she's from Ireland, right? People know her. She's funny as shit, right? She has these little TikTok videos. I enjoy her content, and we just have that kind of weird sexually charged banter. Always have, but she'll tell, and not just me and other people, but she tells people, "This is for jest. Get you off your high horse, people." And so, if you have that kind of relationship with people, that's great. But other people looking in may not know what's going on, and they might get the wrong impression. But you know what? That's up to that's their deal. I don't live my life how other people view things, and I never will, because I think they're anally retentive a lot of times. They have their own hang-ups and their own proclivities that they have to deal with. That's their thing. I don't care about how they appears to other people. I care how it appears to my friends. And it's sure as shit, if one of my friends came to me and said, "Hey, Steve, I think you kind of crossed the line," I would take that goddamn seriously. Very seriously. But that's not what happened. And I've only had to tell one friend of mine that I said, I think that, this has gone a little bit too far, and I think that you need to back off. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I've actually told a couple people that. And some of them were women, actually, that were people that I thought were coming on a little hard and strong. I don't take compliments well. I don't get receptively to flirting very well, unless somebody I know pretty well. I'm not bothered by it per se, but there just like a woman could feel uncomfortable. I have been made to feel comfortable, but I expressed that in private to them. I didn't call them out in public, and you know what? They stopped. Done. Boom. Okay, that's how adults should handle things. But anyways, like I said, I think this probably ran on enough. I want this to be easily digestible. I wanted to give you guys a heads up, though. This is my intent, that I am giving consideration to suing her. If I do have to start a legal fund, because I want what I have in reserves to be used for my move, because my landlord will be probably selling the house next year. I'm in different things of what I'm going to be doing, but it's all positive. But I will need that money to move, and so even though I'm not in any kind of financial problem right now, I would be if I use that for my legal fund. So I will guys let you know on this, but like I said, if I do, it'll go strictly for that. I will have somebody else even handle the funds for it, probably. And then when my lawyer gets back to me, if he says, well, he can handle the case, because I'm not going to have Glenn pay for this, obviously, because this is completely separate from the non-sequitur case that Glenn is paying for. I will pay for it out of my pocket or from a legal fund. I'll let you guys know. And I'll let him know what he says. And if I don't have a case, I'll accept that. But I do want Katie to know that I am seriously considering it. So, Bullen, you got anything left? Anything you want to add to that? By the way, I appreciate you coming in for moral support. I know these things aren't easy for you. I know a lot of people have put you in weird, awkward positions. And I know that just recently you've had to block multiple people. And it sucks. It really sucks. I don't like seeing you in these positions. I really don't.
Well, and I appreciate that, but I'm one of those people that likes to do the right thing too. And you need support. I'm here for you,
I know that. And I appreciate it. I appreciate all the people that have been supporting. And thank you, Sweet Heathen. She says, support you 100%. Thanks everyone for coming. She's been a rock on this as well. And look, if Sweet Heathen, who's one of my biggest confidants, said, hey, Steve, I really think you messed up here, you damn well I'm going to take her damn seriously. Not just because I care about her, but because I trust her judgment. She's been through a lot of shit. She's talked about some of the things she's been through publicly. And I would never want her or anybody else to feel uncomfortable. So I have a wide variety of people that will come to me that I do trust their criticisms and trust me to keep me, on the right path. Because I think everybody needs that. Everybody needs a support system. Everybody needs people to tell them when you're messing up or when they think you're doing something incorrectly. I recognize this and I use those people. But then you have people out there that you don't listen to because you don't trust them. They don't have your best interest at heart, and their advice is basically shit. And then they get butthurt when you don't. Those aren't the people you should be listening to. Keep your friends close. Utilize them, and this is what I tell, Bullinator, and I tell Nick, I tell Sweet, I tell everybody. You have your gut instinct, and listen to the people, and then kind of evaluate your own positions out of it. Be objective and use critical thinking, because you'll see the dichotomy between the people that we are talking about, like Katie, and scientist Mel and other people in those groups of people that I think that are just beyond narcissistic and projectionist, as opposed to people on our side that have constantly been embroiled in these controversies because people have thrown shit at us that never sticks, because all they want to do is run a narrative. All they want to do is try to defame rather than build themselves up. I want to build myself up. I want to build up Non Sequitur again. I want to build up this channel. I want to build up other people's channels, Leslie Bass's channels, Unsettled History, those kind of channels. That's what the whole point of the Non Sequitur Show was. And the Great Debate Community. The Great Debate Community was founded on building channels and building people up. And some people didn't like that. Well, we're going to go back to something like that, I hope. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this. Please share this video. Get it out to Katie's fans as much as you can. And I will be, again, around anytime for people to ask me questions on this. Okay? And with that, I will bid you guys good night.